survivors of crime
No
to
way.
remind them no one
No
should
way.
be able to fight alone.
Dude, Kamala Harris will never be my president.
All right, my friends, J.R. Dukes at your service. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We got quite the spectacle to dissect from last night. As you probably know by now, Kamala Harris has now formally accepted the 2024 nomination of her party, the Democratic Party, for president in 2024. You might ask yourself, hey, where was Joe Biden? Well, I can guarantee you one thing. Joe Biden is on a beach right now, and he is very PO'd. He's not a happy camper, and of course you don't expect him to be a happy camper. He had a coup happen where he was thrown out along with the 14 to 17 million Democrats that voted for him to be the nominee, not Kamala Harris. But of course, that doesn't matter to the Democratic Party. When they think that their poll numbers are slipping, hey, forget democracy. You got to go. They're going to put in who they think should be the nominee. I'm sure that Joe Biden is off sulking on a beach right now and furious that his party was successful in pulling the rug out from underneath him. And of course, folks, we all know the real truth that's going on here. The deep state decided it was time for a change. They want that change to be Kamala Harris, and they are betting that she can keep the White House blue. Now, if you managed to catch Kamala Harris's speech last night, you will definitely notice it's filled with the same old rhetoric and lies that she and her Democratic cohorts keep putting forth to the American population. What else do you expect from Democrats? It's more of the same lies, more of the same half-truths. I guess they figure we're stupid and we're just going to believe whatever they tell us to believe. It's kind of like they have a script and they just keep hitting the repeat button. And how about that stunt they pulled last night with the special guest that was supposed to show up? What happened was, as apparently the Democrats leaked to TMZ that there was a special guest that was going to appear at the DNC last night. Rumors were that it was going to be Beyoncé, maybe even Taylor Swift, but it was all a complete lie. Just a pathetic attempt by the Dems to lie to us all, to try to manipulate us all, and drive up ratings and people viewing the speech from Vice President Kamala Harris.
In anticipation here and elsewhere that there may be a special guest. I am told by Democrats that Kamala Harris was their guest. They did not want a celebrity at the end of this convention to essentially compete with her. One senior advisor telling me this is a deadly serious election. And if you looked at the end of this program, having Leon Panetta come on, the former defense secretary, really presenting Vice President Harris as a plausible commander-in-chief, that is one of the reasons I'm told that there was not a celebrity performance at the end.
And you know what's the most laughable part, at least in my opinion? The Democrats are trying to paint Kamala Harris as some type of new, fresh-faced politician. They're trying to paint her as someone who's completely disconnected the disastrous Biden administration. They're spinning this false narrative that all of these messes, our crippled economy, the open borders, the crime going on everywhere, is somehow not Kamala Harris's fault. It's only Joe Biden's fault. And not even so much that it's Joe Biden's fault. They're trying to say it's Donald Trump's fault. It's kind of like they're trying to rewrite history. They're forgetting who has been in charge of the country for the last 3.5 years. They literally want to have their cake and eat it too. They want Kamala Harris to be known as the Biden-Harris administration. That was from day one when they first come to power in 2020. And I have proof that the White House has always wanted you to think of Biden and Harris as one and the same.
How long have you guys known that Vice President Harris does not think President Biden is doing a good job at the border?
Wait, say that one more time?
Well, she's now promising to hire thousands more border agents than there are now under President Biden.
Wait, but start your question again.
How long have you guys known that Vice President Harris does not think that President Biden is effective with his border policy?
I mean, that you're making a huge jump. Why she did not say this. This is something that you are assuming. I don't understand why you would assume that. It's not true.
She has a campaign ad where she is saying they need more Border Patrol agents. If President Biden's doing such a good job, why do they need any more border agents?
We both believe that. The president does want more Border Patrol agents. You know who's getting in the way? You know who's getting in the way? Republicans in Congress. They're getting in the way. You know who else is getting in the way? The former president, Donald Trump. He's getting in the way. I mean, there's no daylight here. I'm not understanding the question because there's no daylight. The president believes that as well, and he's worked towards doing that.
So there you have it, folks. There's no daylight between Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. They're one and the same. They're like the right and left hand. So don't let the Democrats lie to you and try to rewrite the history that we're living right now. Kamala Harris was even nice enough to go ahead and eulogize President Biden.
To our President Joe Biden, when I think about the path that we have traveled together, Joe, I am filled with gratitude. Your record is extraordinary, as history will show, and your character is inspiring. And Doug and I love you and Jill and are forever thankful to you both.
Oh, sorry, folks. That was very tender and very touching. It kind of, I felt it right here in my heart. I'm sure you did too. And of course, Kamala Harris wants to act like that border security is front and center on her mind and in her heart. And she's going to do everything in her power to support the police and to make sure the border is secure. Folks, she's had 3.5 years to get this right. Yet all she can talk about, first of all, is non-Pacifics. And she loves to talk about former President Donald Trump and what a evil, evil man he is, despite the fact they've been in power for the last 3.5 years. Lies after lies coming out of her mouth.
And so, on behalf of the people, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States. My mother was a brilliant, 5-foot-tall, brown woman with an accent. Consider not only the chaos and calamity when he was in office, but also the gravity of what has happened since he lost the last election. President Biden and I are working around the clock because now is the time to get a hostage deal and a ceasefire deal done. After decades in law enforcement, I know the importance of safety and security, especially at our border.
It's stunning how this woman actually believes, at least she tries to convince herself and convince us, that she believes she is the one to fight against human trafficking. She's the one to fix the border. She's the one that's going to take care of America and keep her safe. Yet under her watch, under Joe Biden's watch, 290,000 children in our country are missing. Children that came across the border, and now they have lost track of these children.
I fought against the cartels who traffic in guns and drugs and human beings, who threaten the security of our border and the safety of our communities. And I will tell you, these fights were not easy, and neither were the elections that put me in those offices. We were underestimated at practically every turn, but we never gave up because the future is always worth fighting for.
And I'm not sure what she's talking about, that she fights and never gives up. She was appointed vice president and she has not received one single vote to be the head of the DNC ticket for this presidential election. It was given to her by the deep state individuals, the party elite. Remember, my friends, we cannot take Kamala Harris and her party and just assume everything is going to be okay. This woman is extremely dangerous. This woman is not just radical. She's a woke, radical, crazy liberal who wants to fundamentally change the United States, and not in a good way, in a very bad way. We all need to understand just how dangerous this woman is and just how serious and problematic things would be in this country should she ever become president of the United States.
I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her.
You're considered the most liberal United States senator. Well, actually, the nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
We are going to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented and cross the border as criminals. That's correct. That is correct.
A lot of the signs at the rally you just held were people standing there saying, abolish ICE.
Yeah.
Is that a position that you agree with?
We need to probably think about starting from scratch.
So you support giving universal health care, Medicare for all to people who are in this country illegally?
I am opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being public health, period.
Are you for defunding the police?
How are you defining defund the police? It's actually wrong and backward to think that more police officers will create more safety. We need to get rid of money bail.
Convicted, in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on death row, people who are convicted of sexual assault, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation. I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. I have always supported Medicare for all. I was very happy to sign on to Bernie's bill, and I give Bernie, frankly, a lot of credit. There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Do you ban plastic straws?
I think we should.
So, my friends, if you don't mind losing your gun rights, no longer eating red meat, having oil prices, gas prices that are through the roof, having the filibuster rule removed from the Senate, and passing this Green New Deal, then Kamala Harris is for you. For me, I stand with freedom. I stand with our founding fathers. We must all speak up and do whatever we have to do. Make sure that Kamala Harris is not elected president of the United States. We need, as I've been talking about for some time now, to have uncomfortable conversations if necessary with our neighbors, our family, our friends. You can start by sharing this video with them. Let them at least hear the truth, and then they can make up their own, hopefully informed, well-informed decision. If you're still with me, you might as well hit the thumbs up button. Like, share, subscribe. Helps the algorithm, helps get this message out. We cannot sit idly by and let this woman become president. No how, no way. I appreciate each and every one of you being with me today. Always say keep that mind free, never give up. Until next time, I am J.R. Dukes.